I have just returned triumphant from an excursion to the bookstore, and I'm here now to show you all the hidden gems that I pulled out of there today. Like this one, Die Like a Man by Michael Delving. And this one sounds like our main character is a rare book dealer and an occult detective. That's awesome, and I love it when books are set in the publishing world. But it was the publisher actually that caught my eye on this one. I don't know if you can see at the top, it says a 5-star paperback. I'll show you some other ones I have just for an example. Some Peter Saxon ones. But yeah, can you see that? And I call these Pulp-Horror. You know, this is from before the horror boom. This is the 60s and 70s stuff when they were still writing them thin. You know, when you get into that paperbacks from hell era, one novel is like the length of all three of these put together. And I love the spines on them too. Maybe you can see they've got their star at the bottom. Yes. Very nice. So yeah, I was really excited about that one. Next up we have The Marchand Woman by John Ives. And this one is about a mom. I'm not sure how old she is, but her son is in the Peace Corps and he's been killed by right-wing terrorists. And this is a revenge novel. It says, the tough and sexy one-woman army known as the Marchand Woman. I mean, that sounds awesome. Sure. A tough and sexy mom in her mid-30s, kicking ass, executioner style. That sounds awesome. And I had said in my Garb August video how I wanted to read a men's adventure book, but not have a white guy as the star. And I had mentioned Modesty Blaze in that video briefly. And look at this. I found another Modesty Blaze book. I have 6 of those now. So yeah, I'm excited about this. And it's hard to tell on this cover, but Modesty Blaze is not white. I don't even know if she knows where she's from exactly, but it's somewhere in the Middle East. She bounced around as an orphan. But that's really good stuff, though. If you're not familiar with Peter O'Donnell's Modesty Blaze, I can suggest that you check that out. But I'll show you what I'm reading right now, actually. This is The Dream Girl Caper, Dark Angel, the first book. And I've had that on my shelf for a while, and I've been anticipating it. And I'm reading it now, and it hasn't disappointed. I've got 50 pages left to go. But it is good. Angela, she's a highly educated black woman. See, Modesty Blaze, she has a criminal past, but Angela does not. She got herself out of the ghetto by studying hard and doing whatever she had to do to get this education. And there's more to it than that, but she's now a PI and a damn good one. And yeah, this book is good. It's got some like occult feeling to it with somebody having nightmares that are coming true. And the caper kind of surrounds a $3 million jackpot for a competition that a cigarette company is putting on, which I thought was pretty funny because also for Garb August, there was read a book with a cigarette ad in it. But alas, this one, no cigarette ad. But yeah, that's where I'm at for now. But back to the haul. And next I'll show you some juvenile delinquency books. And this is the toughest novel ever written about juvenile gangs. Irving Schulman's The Amboy Dukes. And this one does have a cigarette ad in it. And look at this one. It actually folds out and you get the Kent rewards program. Unbelievable. Obscene. And this book says on the back that it was charged as obscene upon its original publication in 1947. And this is the 1971 edition. And with a lot of these old books, what they judged as obscene then can be tame to today's standards, but what they considered tame could be quite obscene today. And given the subject matter of this book, I'm going to say it's probably pretty obscene. But speaking of obscenity, this next book I'm going to show you is potentially problematic. Think Stephen King's Rage going into this one. This is a novel by Richard Miles called Angel Loves Nobody. And on the cover it says, "In the locker rooms, in the parking lots, a brilliant student plans his ultimate protest. Kill the faculty of Betsy Ross Junior High." And it sounds like he has the support of the student body. It kind of gives me If vibes. And I had looked this one up on Goodreads, and not too many people are talking about it. And I didn't read the 2 reviews, but one of them is quite lengthy. So I'd be interested in revisiting that comment after I've read this for myself. Next up is this one. This one caught my eye because of the publisher, New English Library. And I always look at those when I see them because they publish a lot of that youth cult stuff, like skinheads and mods and bikers and hippies. Here's a couple examples. And this one sounds like a court case involving teen violence. And I guess the theme of it is the innocent one is simply the one with the better lawyer. And I had never heard of Sol Steen before, so I looked him up, being a new-to-me author. And it turns out that him and his wife had a publishing company, and he published books for Che Guevara and was a big champion of James Baldwin's, and published him and helped promote him into becoming one of the most prolific black writers of the 20th century. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I looked this book up on Goodreads, and they have it tagged as dark coming-of-age horror. So yeah, I think I stumbled across something good here. And that's how I do it, just because of the publisher. We'll move on. But sticking with the juvenile delinquency theme, here's Burnout by Jack W. Thomas from 1979. And again, though, this is the scorching new novel of 3 young narcs trapped in a deadly high school drug bust. But it's interesting, though, because this one, in the back of it, says teenagers face life and love, and it's got ads for a bunch of Paul Zindel and Judy Blume books. So I'm thinking, is this YA? Is this juvenile delinquency? But yeah, I'm here for it. That sounds awesome. And then next, sticking with the drug theme, I got this one, King of White Lady by R. Lance Hill, who's a Canadian author. I'm a Canadian reader. And that's published by Totem. And I guess R. Lance Hill is also a screenwriter and makes movies. And the screenshots at the bottom here for a movie that ended up getting scrapped and never released, which is kind of a shame because it sounds like Blow, the Johnny Depp movie about George Young. Because our guy here, he moves cocaine between the Americas, and I guess he's up for one last gig before he retires. So that sounds awesome. I kind of thought about that movie when I grabbed this. And I love that totem logo too. Lithoed in Canada. If it wasn't borderline offensive, I'd like that on a shirt. So yeah, I went to the bookstore today and I bought 8 books. And I do want to know, what would you guys start with? What would be the first one you would read? Would it be The Rare Book Dealer Occult Mystery? Or Modesty Blaze, like I suggested? Maybe the toughest novel ever written about juvenile gangs? If you pick this one, yeah, I'm with you. This is bizarre, just a problematic old book. And I'm very curious about it. And let's just take a moment to appreciate these 2 books side by side. That looks awesome. And I am totally excited. But it'll be a minute before I get to those, because when I'm finished The Dark Angel, I'm going to be reading this, The Coven by E. Howard Hunt, writing as David St. John. And that's because Nick from the Book Graveyard, which is a channel I really respect, has been enjoying these. And he said that he wants to do a feature on this author. So I thought I'd better get some of these under my belt before that happens, so I can join the conversation. And he was talking about, or he says this is government issue spy fiction. And he was talking about this author that was a CIA agent and Watergate conspirator. And I thought, wait a second, I have an author that fits that bill. I couldn't remember his name, but I remembered the book. So yeah, I pulled it out, and this is what he's talking about. So I'm excited to get to that. But if you're watching this far, I'll show you what came in the mail today. And that's some of these paperback book bags. These are the bags I use, just because those are what came up when I searched them on Amazon.ca. And I've used them before, and they're good. You know, some people like the bags, some people don't. I'm against single-use plastic, of course, but this stuff is good for shelf wear. You know, I like to encourage my guests to take a look through my library, and they can pull off some of these more delicate ones and look at the cover and read the back and just jam it back on the shelf without worrying about any dog-eared corners or anything like that. So yeah, I think that's what I'll be up to. But thanks for watching, and until next time, over and out.